Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. We have a great show for you today. Today we're going to talk about the good ending to the first half for the Los Angeles Dodgers. It was a good day of action both Saturday and Sunday in the minor league system. Both Oklahoma City and Tulsa, they won their games to finish the first half and go into their break on a good note. And then Great Lakes and Rancho, they lost their games. Hey, Christaylor, he was back in action with Rancho, Cucamonga. Gavin Stone was good again, so we're going to cover that. We're also going to talk about Miguel Vargas and him getting sent back down. Michael Grove and his outing a little bit lucky the other night. So a lot to talk about, a lot to get to. So before we get into it, just a reminder, if you like this video and if you like this kind of content, click the like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily, share this video, and make sure your notifications are turned on. And don't forget the link to our GoFundMe account. It's in the description if you'd like to help by donating. Hey, okay, so a lot to talk about. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk Dodgers baseball. So the D-backs lost today, which means with the Dodgers win last night and then also on Friday, they are tied for first place. If you go back a couple of weeks and you watch podcast after podcast on Dodgers Daily, I have been preaching over and over and over, you need to have a sense of urgency. You need to play these last couple of series, 3 series, where you had a bunch of winnable games like it's the playoffs, and you need to win as many of them as you can. And even though you've had a couple of setbacks and lost a couple of games, you really felt like you didn't, you did it. Got back tied for first place. The Dodgers, the D-backs are tied, and the Dodgers continue to increase their lead on the San Francisco Giants as well. So all in all, said it many different times the last couple of days, with everything that's gone on this year, with the amount of time that starters have been on the disabled list, I guess it's the injured list nowadays is what they call it. It's pretty amazing to think that the Dodgers are still in first place, tied for that. You know, a pretty rough set of games coming up at, after the break, which is why it was so important to get back even or in the lead or right there close to the lead in the NL West. And the schedule going down the stretch for the rest of the whole year, if you stretch it out over the whole year, still favors the Dodgers. The Dodgers are going to get healthier. So I think it's pretty safe to say Dodgers are still odds-on favorites to win the NL West, and that is a position that I have not changed my mind on all year. So congratulations to Dave. Congratulations to all the guys who have just grinded and been gritty and tough and just figured out a way to win enough games. 51 games, by the way. And hey, if the Dodgers go, 500 for the rest of the season, they're going to break the 90-win mark, which would be pretty incredible for this team as well, especially if they win the NL West. So I think Dodgers fans at this point has to be pretty happy. We've talked about the bullpen all year, and a couple of weeks ago I talked about how they were the second to worst bullpen in all of Major League Baseball. Well, hey, it's still not good, but they have gone up 8 spots. They are now just 20th in the major leagues in bullpen, and the starters are 19th. So now the starting, that's kind of stayed the same. So when you look at the ERAs with the starters on the Los Angeles Dodgers and the ERAs of the bullpen, and you combine those two, they're just about exactly the same. So you're getting just about the exact same out of your starters as you are your bullpen. Obviously, the offense has been what has carried this team. It's not because of batting average, though. The batting average for this team has not been good this year, but the slug numbers have been. And when you put it all together, the Dodgers are 4th in all of baseball in scoring with 494 runs. How have they gotten there? Okay, like I said, the average has not been good. So how are you 19th in all of Major League Baseball in batting average, but yet still 4th in runs scored? Well, how about your 2nd in home runs, your 6th in on-base percentage, your 4th in RBIs, your 3rd in slugging, your 3rd in OPS, and you have all those slug numbers, but yet you're right in the middle of the pack in strikeouts. They're about 3 or 4 years ago, the Dodgers were always top 5 in the amount of strikeouts per year. That changed about 2 or 3 years ago. They don't strike out as much as people think nowadays. 15th in Major League Baseball, which is right in the middle with strikeouts. So when you can be middle of the pack in striking out, but yet top of the pack in slugging numbers, that's why you are 4th in the major leagues in runs scored, and that is obviously very good. From an individual perspective, the Dodgers all year long have been very, very, very top heavy, especially with Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, JD Martinez. They are the guys that have really carried this offense. As a matter of fact, the Dodgers have 2 individuals that are in the top 10 in OPS. They have 3 in the top 11, and they have 5 in the top 50. So that goes to show you those 5 guys that are in the top 50. When you're talking about JD Martinez, Mookie Betts, Will Smith, and then believe it or not, Max Muncy as well. That's why he keeps getting put in the lineup, because, whenever he does hit, he really hits and he really produces runs and helps this team win games. As far as the individuals, average Freddie Freeman is 4th in the major leagues in average, and then the next highest is Will Smith at 33rd. That's why this team overall has not been a good batting average team, but still has been a good team in scoring runs. As far as home runs, the Dodgers have 2 players in the top 10 in home runs. As far as RBIs, they have 3 top 10 guys. Mookie Betts is tied for 7th. He's actually tied with JD Martinez for 7th in Major League Baseball in RBIs, and then Freddie Freeman is 10th. So you can see, hey, like I said, it's not been a good team as far as batting average, but it has been a slug-heavy team and a team that has been able to slug without striking out, an exorbitant amount. So that's all been good, and we talked about the pitching. So let's get to Miguel Vargas. He just got sent back down. He got optioned back down to AAA Oklahoma City. Totally agree with this decision. I think it's probably a week or 2 overdue, but I don't have a problem with it being overdue either, because I don't have a problem with the organization trying to give as much runway, show as much confidence as you can in a young man who has always been an elite hitter at every other level that he's hit at, and just see if he can't catch a spark and get something going. It just simply never happened for Miguel Vargas. So we're going to get into some of his hitting mechanics, and I'm going to show you what I think he needs to do, some of the adjustments he needs to make. I'm going to compare him to some of his swings from last year, what has made him so successful in the past, compare that to what he's doing now, and we're going to get after it from that perspective. So here's my breakdown of Miguel Vargas. So this is a clip from Miguel Vargas from last year, and what I want you to notice is watch the path of his hands. Watch how his hands are high right here. The barrel is in really good position. He's stretched it out. He's gotten good extension as far as walking his hands away from his body. He's in a very, centered, very athletic position. The foot gets down very well. Now, here's the key to Miguel Vargas. Watch the hands. See how the hands are coming down? See how the hands are coming down? And then watch how he flattens the barrel right there at slot. See right there? That is 0-degree slot. He gets that barrel flat, and from here, the hands go flat through the zone. Okay, the hands go flat through the zone. You can see right there, and then watch the top hand turn that barrel. Okay, there's flat right there. Top hand turn the barrel right there. Top hand turn the barrel after flat. So that barrel is coming down to the ball because the hands came flat through the zone. The barrel flattened out at slot, and then the barrel turned. The top hand turned the barrel down to the baseball. And then at the front, now watch this, at the front of his swing, watch his hands. The hands come up at the front of the swing. That is an absolutely picture-perfect swing. Down at the back, flat in the middle, and then up in front, which means at the back of the zone, you're going to hit a lot of hard ground balls, probably the other way, in between first and second base right there. In the middle of your swing that I showed you right here, you're going to hit a whole bunch of line drives, and then at the front of your swing right there, you're going to be able to get the ball in the air and hit home runs. That's what's made Miguel Vargas so good, especially when you combine, look at how connected his body is right here. Okay, his body is in perfect position. He's behind the baseball right there, and he is what I call tilting through the baseball, and he's not leaning backwards. He's tilting through the ball to gain leverage and using the core right here in the middle of his body very, very well. So his body is very well connected. It is very well synced up, and he is using all of his leverage in power as he is coming down to that ball, hands traveling flat to the zone, and then up at the front. Now, let me show you 2023 this year in spring training. Watch the barrel in the back. Okay, see how he's lifting up already? What I want you to show you, look at this front shoulder right here. See how this front shoulder is already lifting and this front elbow is already lifting out of the zone? And let me show you what that actually does for a swing. I'm going to get back to it here in a second. Watch how the barrel, look at the barrel right there. See how he loses the barrel in the back? The barrel is already below his hands in the back of the zone before it ever even came level. So he's just literally just turning the barrel at the back of the zone, and then whenever you get in this position, there's only two options you can have. You can either hit a fly ball to right field, okay, right there, see that? You can hit a fly ball to right field right here if you keep going forward with your hands, or you can overcompensate like a tennis player does trying to get top spin on a ball and roll over and hit ground balls to the shortstop. Those are the only two options Miguel Vargas has in this hitting position. Look how dramatically different that is than what he was in last year as far as where he is turning that barrel. Remember, he wasn't turning the barrel. Let me go back and show you. He's not turning this barrel until look how the barrel's coming down, and he is not turning the barrel until after the hands and the barrel comes flat. So the barrel turns not until after the hands are flat, whereas in 23, the barrel is turning behind his hands getting flat. It's getting behind him right there, and that's making it to where he's blocking everything off and having to hit either weak. You can see right there, look at that position he's in. The only thing he can hit right here is a weak pop up to second base, a weak fly ball to right field, and or he can take that barrel and roll it over and hit a ground ball on an overcompensation to the shortstop. Okay, so here's another swing from 2023. This is a down and in pitch, and this is the pitch that has been getting to him and beating him as well. Okay, again, instead of bringing the hands flat through the zone, okay, watch how the hands never travel flat. The hands continue just to go on a straight down path. Okay, so watch his hands again. Hands straight down to the ball. Instead of right here, what should happen, the hands should flatten out. Then they should come forward in a flat path, and then the top hand turns the barrel down to the baseball. Instead, he's taking his hand straight down to the ball, and because of that, look how beat he is. Now, another thing is, watch his front shoulder, watch his front elbow. See how his front shoulder right there? Watch his front elbow, or front shoulder. Front shoulder gone right there. Front elbow starting to leave. Alrighty, look at that front shoulder, look at that front elbow. It's already gone, and that's because he's pushing so hard with that top hand, and he's pushing the hands down to the ball instead of that runway I talk about with the airplane. Instead of landing the hands on the runway and letting them have that flat window through the hitting zone, his hands never go through the hitting zone there, and he's turning the barrel at the back of the zone, and he's taking his hands down to the baseball. And because of that, look at this position. He's having to fly open on the pitch and really just has, the only thing he really can do right here is just hit one foul to the third base side or foul one off his foot. So that's a big difference. Now here is whenever he's going good again. Okay, watch his hands go flat. Okay, watch the hands go flat. If I can get to the position, hands flat right there. There's 0 degree slot. Okay, right there, there's 0 degree slot again. Right there, 0 degree slot. See how the barrel is above the hand still before 0 degree slot? Okay, and then the barrel does not go below the hands until after this 0 degree slot and after the hands start moving forward on that flat runway. Turn that barrel with the top hand, Miguel Vargas. Watch the top hand. Turn that barrel down to the ball right there, and that is a picture-perfect, beautiful swing to right center. That is the Miguel Vargas swing that I have become accustomed to watching him hit with. This right here is the Miguel Vargas swing that made him the best hitter probably in all the minor leagues in the last 3 or 4 years. This is the swing he is capable of. Maybe it was the hand injury. I don't know what other things could have happened as far as the mechanical changes, but this is picture perfect. Flat right there to 0 degree slot. Okay, barrel is still above the hands until you get to that spot, and then turn the barrel top hand down to the ball. That is absolutely picture perfect mechanics versus losing the barrel at the back of the zone, okay, before the barrel ever even gets flat. No way to turn the barrel with the top end other than up at it and pushing fly balls to right field. So that is my talk on Miguel Vargas. Those are the adjustments he has to make. pretty simple adjustments, actually. I mean, you're talking about going back to a swing that he's always had in the past. I think he's healthy enough to do it. So, hey, let's go down to Oklahoma City. Let's take some pressure off him. Let's see if he can make those mechanical adjustments and get back to being the Miguel Vargas we know he can be. So the big one, Gavin Stone, you're seeing him right here. This is Gavin Stone from this afternoon. How about that? Look at that, that sinker, I should say, and the changeup. 6 innings scoreless. We saw him have the good outing the other night with LA, and I thought it was just a brilliant, kind of like sometimes when a hitter's struggling, if you move him up in the lineup, you just kind of inject some confidence into him. I think that happened to Gavin Stone when they brought him back up to LA. I'm going to give you a little bit better look here without the herky-jerkiness to it. I think that injected some confidence into him, just kind of got some positive momentum going for him, and it really, really helped. So what has been the difference right here? I'm going to click play again so you can see this again. What has been the difference with Gavin Stone? That pitch right there, his sinker, okay? So they brought his sinker back. I talked about over the offseason. I interviewed him. He said, hey, I'm not throwing my sinker again. I ditched that pitch. Just a 4-seam slider changeup guy. And to be honest with you, that was confusing to me because his sinker, in my opinion, look at that pitch right there. I'm going to rewind that so you can see that sinker again. That was a very, very, very good pitch. That sinker is the one that takes that right turn. That's a change up there. So there's a sinker right there. Did you see that? That was a really nice pitch. Let me back that up. Watch this right turn to that sinker at about 91. That's a change up right here. 91 miles an hour, and that is moving away a lot from a left-hander. That's going to bore into there's another sinker right there. There's a good changeup. So you're getting a good right turn to that pitch with the same amount of velo. And the thing about Gavin Stone, I've said this all the time. If you've been watching Dodgers Daily, I said it about a month ago. I've said it in times in the past. Bring back Gavin Stone's sinker for the simple fact there's a good 4-seam up in the zone. There's a good sinker right there. The simple fact there's a good sinker to the bottom of the zone. See the right turn and how he's getting away from barrels? It's because he is at his best when he is allowed to work the bottom of the zone like that pitch right there with movement. You saw that other sinker. I'm going to back that up just a touch so you can see that sinker one more time. Back it up to right here. Watch the right turn. If I'm at the right, look at that right there. Let me back that up one more time. Watch the right turn of this pitch at 91 miles an hour. Not this right here. Good pitch. That's a changeup right there. That's a very difficult pitch to hit and one that he has not been throwing all year long. The Dodgers, they love riding those 4 seams at the top of the zone. That is a nasty changeup. Good 4-slot fastball, good slider. They love riding those 4 seams up the zone to get the spin rate. The thing about Gavin Stone is his spin is right there on the edge. He's going to average somewhere around 2200 on spin. Anything below 2300, is probably in a 2-seam sinker. As far as that category goes, that's where Gavin Stone's at. So I think it's a brilliant move to bring the sinker back. That gives him now the 4-seam sinker, slider, and change. It gives him a bigger arsenal. It's going to make him, what it's going to do is it's going to free up his mind. He's going to feel like he has all of his bullets right now. When you take away a bullet and a weapon from somebody, they just kind of feel like they have one arm tied behind their back a little bit. And then from a mental perspective, you don't feel as aggressive and like you have, you can be as aggressive because you don't have all of your weapons with you. I think giving him back his 2-seam sinker is really going to free up that aspect of the way he approaches it because he's going to be able to start the thing. Here's another thing about that 2-seam sinker too, like that one right there. He can start that one. Did you see that last pitch? I'm going to back it up and watch this. He can start this in the middle of the plate and then just let the pitch work. Okay, there's the foot right there. Nope, next pitch right here. 4-seam middle of the plate, and it just works its way back over the plate. Back it up one more time. Start it out over the middle of the plate, let it work back in on right-handers, and nothing that right-hander can do other than foul that off. Again, look where this pitch starts, okay, right there. That starts right in the middle of the plate. And that's going to free up his mind because he's thinking, hey, all I got to do is start this thing in the middle of the plate, which is easy for him to do, and let the movement of the pitch do the work, which it did. Look at that nasty changeup. And it's also going to make his changeup good too because his changeup is going to take that right turn, but more of a right turn. Then he's also going to have the left turn of his slider and the 4-seam. So Brilliant move, in my opinion, to move him back to the two-seam sinker, move him up to the major leagues with LA, give him that shot of confidence, just like they did with John Rooney, give him a little bit of east and west to play with, give him some movement to get away from barrels, because if you don't have movement, if everything is straight as far as if all of your strike pitches, like your fastballs, are all straight, then you feel like if you're not perfect with your location at the major league level, you're going to get hit. And whenever you feel like that, that's whenever you start pressing and trying to make perfect pitches. And I think that's kind of the trap that Michael Grove and Gavin Stone and Emmett Sheehan and Bobby Miller to an extent have been in at times. So again, he's not going to feel like he has to be as perfect because the ball's going to move. He's just going to start it in a good location and let the movement of the pitch work. And that is when Gavin Stone is at his best. The question of the day, hey, leave me your answer in the comment section. Do the Dodgers have a prospect that you would consider to be untouchable? Okay, like I said, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. You're looking at Cole Calhoun right here. Do you think the Dodgers have any prospect or prospects that should be untouchable? Cole Calhoun hit his 6th home run of the year and his 13th double on Sunday. Calhoun has hits in 10 of his last 11 games. He's hitting .292 so far in July. Hey, congratulations to Oklahoma City. Look at that crowd. They had 2 crowds this week of over 10,000 people. They had a crowd of 10,000, over 10,000 on the 4th of July. Then also, again, on Saturday night, they had a crowd of around 7,000 on Friday. So, hey, the crowds haven't always been awesome in the past in Oklahoma City, especially since the Oklahoma City Thunder have come to town. So, congratulations to the community of Oklahoma City, just the organization of the Oklahoma City Dodgers. I know they work extremely hard to connect with the community. So, congratulations on the big crowds over the last week. Justin Hageman has been sneaky good this year for AAA Oklahoma City. I've mentioned him a couple of times, talking about guys that can help the bullpen. Good 3/4 slot, a lot of cut to his pitches. It's always moving away from a right-handed barrel. Good slider you saw there. The young man out of Penn State, he had a good performance today for AAA Oklahoma City. He came in behind Gavin Stone. As a matter of fact, the AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers only had to use 2 pitchers today, Gavin Stone and Justin Hageman, and they were both right on the money. So this is another guy that's sneaky, probably not imminent as far as the next guy or 2 guys that they bring up, but keep Justin Hageman in your back pocket. Hey, guess who that is? That is one Mr. Chris Taylor hitting bombs in his rehab assignment for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. This is actually at the Inland Empire. This is on Sunday afternoon. This was his second at-bat. He actually struck out in his first at-bat. But how about that? Chris Taylor hitting bombs for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes to actually get them on the board here. So good to see Chris Taylor back. It'll be interesting to see what the Dodgers do with their lineup. We saw Miguel Vargas go down. So does that mean Chris Taylor's going to play some second base? Does it mean Mookie Betts is going to play second base? And then Jason Hayward to right field? Does that mean James Outman's going to get less at-bats with maybe Chris Taylor in center field? So we'll see how the Dodgers incorporate him into the lineup. My biggest fear is the last thing that I just said there, and that is that Chris Taylor takes away at-bats from James Outman, because if I think you do that, you're taking away one of your dynamic type players in your offense that can steal bases. We've seen him in the last 2 games not get a whole bunch of hits, but he beat out a double play ball that kept an inning alive in a couple of games ago. And then next thing you know, with 2 outs, you scored about 5 runs, which wouldn't have happened if he didn't beat out that double play. And then last night, we also saw the speed on a little swing and bunt, and he came around to score around the bases using his speed there. So I would hate to take away one of your dynamic athletes out of your lineup, although you're adding one with Chris Taylor. He obviously is very dynamic himself. But so I hope they figure out a way to incorporate Chris Taylor without James Outman losing at bats. Lots of great action to talk about with the AA Tulsa Drillers. This is Josue Diaz. If you remember, he was with the Dodgers 3 or 4 years ago. Dodgers traded him away. They brought him back this year. He hit a home run in his very first at-bat back with the Dodgers. He has hit home runs in back-to-back games. Diaz's numbers don't look great. He was hurt, he got off to a good start, got hurt, and since he's been back, he just hasn't quite gotten in a groove. So it was good to see Josue Diaz go on back-to-back days, hit home runs. It was also great to see Henny, the manager of the AA Tulsa Drillers, in the dugout on Saturday night. I know he's fighting like crazy to overcome his battle with cancer, and man, he is tough as hell, so I think he will. Talk about a sight for sore eyes. Nick Frasso, he went on the shelf for shoulder issues, and then it's just kind of, he hasn't had a lot of action between now and then. He's had some, in his starts, he's had some bad luck, like some really weak contact just drop in and some bad strike zones, and just some things that haven't gone his way since he came back off of the IL. So he's had some rough starts, so it was really, really good to see Nick Frasso have a really good start the other day. As a matter of fact, this was on Saturday afternoon. Nick Frasso had just a fantastic outing. As a matter of fact, he went 3.1 innings, which is good because that means he stretched out a little bit more, and he gave up just 1 run on 4 hits, had 6 strikeouts, and just 1 walk. So a good outing, all good sign from Nick Frasso. I had mentioned a week or two ago something a little bit to be concerned about, so this was a sight for sore eyes. Well, this is as dialed in as I have seen Diego Cartaya. I have broken down his swing. Look at this, how he got to that inside pitch. Let me back that up. This is the pitch that has been beating him pretty bad. I'm going to have to refresh that so you can see it again here in just a... So this is the pitch that's been beating Diego Cartaya. This pitch that is in on the hands, especially high. Of course, this is a breaking ball, but look, watch his hands come down to the ball right there, turn the barrel top hand, and he gets to that inside pitch. This is a wonderful adjustment. If he keeps swinging the bat like this, watch out, because Diego Cartaya, he can overpower pitchers. What a wonderful adjustment he's made, and because of that adjustment, he's able to do this. Get to the inside pitch. The last time I talked about him, he hit a double down the right field line, so now he's getting to that inside pitch while still covering the outside part of the plate. So Diego Cartaya, this, no doubt about it, is the best he has looked all year long. Boy, how about the year that Braden Fisher is having? He had another great outing on Saturday. He went 1 2/3 innings for a reliever. That's really good. Look at that, the depth on that breaking ball. I talk about another breaking ball right there. He never had that breaking ball. All he had was a slider, and he wanted to add, a little bit. He actually wanted to add a little bit of horizontal movement to his slider. So to do that is, one of his pitching coaches in spring training told him to add some depth to it. Act like you're just trying to throw a curveball, so he did, and he did that for about 6 days in a row. Next thing you know, he had the curveball that you're seeing right here on the screen. Braden Fisher and that riding four seam up in the zone. 1.2 innings for Fisher. Look at that big breaking ball. I just mentioned just 1 hit, 4 strikeouts, no walks. ERA down to 3.11 on the year. Braden Fisher, the young man out of League City, Texas, 51 Ks, 39 innings. So doing a great job and making a whole lot of, boy, look at that breaking ball. That is just absolutely big time pitch, making a lot of people proud. Super excited, getting ready to release my feature just this week here, probably Tuesday morning on RiverRyan. I've already interviewed him, so if you want to check that out, that is already on the Dodgers Daily YouTube. But hey, wrote a big long feature article on him, broke down his mechanics, broke down the type of pitcher he is, talked about his background, how he became a Dodger, all the things he's done in the past. If you've ever read a Dodgers Daily feature article on one of the prospects, it's very similar to all of the other ones that I have done. So super excited to release that, and super excited about the outing that RiverRyan had today. Not going to sugarcoat it. Man, he was working around traffic, as you can see here, all day long, and just super gritty. Some days you just have to figure out a way to get outs when you don't have your A stuff. I would have to say this was probably one of those days for RiverRyan, and he absolutely figured out how to get through 3 innings scoreless. He struck out 4, and he has lowered his ERA down to 2.71, and RiverRyan now has 67 strikeouts and 63 innings, and his average against is just 195. So another power arm who's reached as high as 99 in his career, has a 4-pitch mix, and is very, very, very competitive. So RiverRyan, hey, be looking for his feature article that I'm releasing here in the next day or two. Boy, Antonio Knowles, man, he is just absolutely nails right now. The way I put it the other night, he's so confident with the way he's releasing the ball. Kind of like a basketball shooter when they shoot a really long 3-pointer. They shoot the ball and they just absolutely know it's going in as soon as they release it, and they start running back to the other end and don't even watch the ball go through the hoop. That's Antonio Knowles right now, man. Just release that slider and really don't even have to watch it. You know it's just going to be a great pitch and get swing and miss. That's how confidently he is releasing the baseball right now. And today, Antonio Knowles stranded 2 inherited runners in a tie game in the 8th, and he did not allow a run in his 1 inning of work. He dropped his ERA down to 2.31, his whip down to 1.08, and its average against to 1.64. And Antonio Knowles now has 48 strikeouts in 35 innings. The conchinator, that slider that he throws, is just fantastic. Trevor Bettencourt has been up and down the Turner Turnpike this year between AA Tulsa, AAA Oklahoma City. How about you have Antonio Knowles? Look at that breaking ball there. You have Antonio Knowles that has the conchinator slider, that I call it, with that big-time slider. Then you bring in Trevor Bettencourt with that breaking ball right behind it, man. If you're a hitter, you got to be thinking, man, can I please at least see 101 like the rest of the pitchers on the Tulsa staff? Because I'm tired of trying to hit that breaking ball right there, something at Wichita. They did some today, but not consistently. The Drillers actually won this game in extra innings on a hit from Ismael Alcantara that we're getting ready to see here in just a moment. So bases loaded, runner at second, chance at a walk-off right here. Man, how many times have you been in your backyard and you've kind of put that scenario in your mind, or you're dribbling a basketball, shooting a free throw, thinking the game's on the line, and you kind of just dream about those scenarios? Well, Ismael Alcantara, he got to live that out today at One Oak to go into the break on a really high note, so that was a lot of fun. Ismael Alcantara, he has been hitting the ball a lot better as of late. He had 2 hits today. As a matter of fact, he has multi-hit games in 2 out of his last 4. Sweet swing, Brandon Lewis. Check out this swing. This is a guy that had the most home runs per at bat 2 years ago in all the minor league organization, the Dodgers. And just look how easy this power is in that beautiful swing. Look how he just turns that barrel. He gets down to slide here. He's a little bit too far inside. See how that barrel and that knob is pointed to first base? I would rather that knob right now be pointed exactly to the ball. See, he's a little bit behind it, which means he's going around it just a touch, which means he's having to hurry up getting through it, and that is leading to a little bit of rollover and or a little bit of lazy fly ball to the opposite field. You can see right here, this look right there could lead to some lazy fly balls because, again, he's wrapped a little bit and he's turned towards first base a little bit too much. But other than that, just an absolutely beautiful, sweet swing. He hits this ball dead up the middle. He had 3 hits today, Brandon Lewis did. A wonderful day for him. He loves playing golf, and I know he's going to play quite a bit of golf over the break. So, hey, getting 3 hits going into the break, you know that's going to make the rounds of golf just a little funner, and it's going to make the golf ball fly just a little bit further. And he has hits now in 3 of his last 4 games. So good job, Brandon Lewis. Well, imagine this. Austin Gauthier, he had a hit to dead center field. He had 3 hits on the day. I'm going to give you 3 guesses, and the first 3 don't count as far as where all the hits went. He had 1 up the middle. Then he had 1, yep, you guessed it. He had 1 to the opposite field, okay, and we're going to stick around that one. Actually, look at the carry on that ball. That's a 4-foot fence in right field. Good speed for Austin Gauthier, very good athlete. So he has a hit up the middle. He has a hit to the opposite field. So let's hang around and watch this last one. Yep, he went around the world. There's your hit to left field. I call that when you have a hit to every single field in one day. I call that going around the world. That's what Austin Gauthier did. Boy, it is a thing of beauty when Jose Ramos goes up the middle. That is just absolutely fantastic. Let's actually slow that thing down and let's take a look at Jose Ramos right here. Watch whenever he goes up the middle. I want to get a good look at his swing when he goes up the middle. The hands coming to the ball here, and then watch, the hands are dropping just a little bit further than I would like. Right there. Right about there is where I'd like the hands to come forward. He drops them a little bit too much for my liking, but the pitch is low in the zone, and because of that, he's still able, watch the top end, to turn the barrel with that top hand well. See how he's turning that barrel with the top hand? He's actually lifting a little bit with the top hand there too, but then he's able to hit it into center field. So Jose Ramos, there is a good swing on a hit into center field, and he had a good day. 2 hits for AA Tulsa and their big extra inning win. Ramos enters the break hitting .259, 16 home runs, 50 RBIs. Let's break down a pitch and a swing of him hitting the ball to the opposite field. Let's break that down and take a look at that right here. Just what it looks like when he hits the opposite field. Watch the hands come down to the ball. Barrel still turns right there. That is a beautiful swing. See how the top end is turning the ball to the baseball? It's not lifting. That top end is not lifting. It's turning the barrel to the ball. That is just absolutely gorgeous, Jose Ramos. That's why I always say with him and Chris Taylor and guys like that, they have to think up the middle, because when they do, that's what their swing looks like. And so Jose Ramos, a big reason why he had 2 hits today, having a wonderful year. Stat stuffing is what I call it. 259, 16 homers, 50 RBIs, 7 stolen bases. Going to spend a minute or two on the Great Lakes Loons, because boy, do they deserve it. And welcome back Jan Castro. He'd been on the IL for just about a month. He came back on Saturday night, making his first appearance, as a matter of fact, since June the 9th. And boy, was he good. His secondary, the thing about it is, being gone for almost a month, you would think that the secondaries is what you wouldn't be able to control. But right there, that little cutter, he was terrific in throwing his secondaries, 4 strikes, and that's great considering the time off. Okay, Jan Castro went 2 2/3 innings scoreless. He gave up 5 strikeouts. He had 5 strikeouts, gave up just 1 walk. Jan Castro lowered his ERA to, are you sitting down? 2.01. So what a year he's having, and his whip is sub-1 at 0.90. So Jan Castro, keep up the great work. My man, Rodolfo Ramirez, I love this guy. He is a very good pitcher, very underrated. He's been hurt this year, so it's been one of those years where he just really hasn't gotten any positive momentum going until this weekend. Boy, he was really good in his last outing. Same outing, he came in right after Jan Castro. He went 3 1/3 innings scoreless. Look at that positive energy that he brings to the mound. A lot, and every time you talk to him, communicate with him, it is yes sir, no sir, what can I do for you? How can I help you? Just one of the most polite and nicest human beings that I have ever communicated with. 3 1/3 scoreless innings on Saturday, 4 strikeouts, and no walks. He is a very good strike thrower. He gave up just 1 hit. And Rodolfo Ramirez has some, like I said, the stops and starts, so it's good to see him back on the bump, doing what he does best, which is getting outs. Taylor Young led today's game off, going big fly for the Great Lakes Loons. That makes 5 games in a row where Taylor Young has hits. And, hey, he's from West Monroe, Louisiana, and he loves the jambalaya and the gumbo. So, hey, maybe he can take a trip home in these 5 days and get back home and get him some jambalaya and gumbo into his system and get recharged and ready for the second half of the season. As they always say down in Bulldog territory at Louisiana Tech, he's just getting started. Taylor Young and Bubba Aline, once they got drafted last year in the 2022 draft, they were roommates out at Rancho Cucamonga, became great friends, and it's like clockwork. Anytime Bubba Aline does something, then it seems like Taylor Young matches it. Taylor Young hits the home run today. The very next inning, his roommate Bubba Aline hits a home run as well. That's that positive energy, that contagiousness, if you will, that gets through the dugout, and it's certainly hitting is contagious. All of that positive momentum is contagious, so it's good to see Bubba Aline go yard for home run number 3 of the year for the 2022 Big Ten Player of the Year. Another good look at Reynaldo De Paula. We've covered him quite a bit here on Dodgers Daily. Very unique delivery. What I want to show you with his delivery is, there's 3 separations right here as you separate from your glove. Some guys drop all the way down to their knee. Now, those guys, typically a stride is going to be the length of your body. If you come straight sideways, straight, if you point what we call point the ball to center field, that person's going to have a stride just about the length of their body. Okay, if you're a dropper, you're going to need to have a little bit longer of a stride, because it's going to take a little bit longer for your arm to get back up on top. And then some guys lift up to their ear, and those are the guys that are going to have shorter strides. So Reynaldo De Paula, very deceptive. What's deceptive about him? Watch, he points it to center field. He comes straight out right here. See how he doesn't drop the ball? He just kind of points it straight to center field right there. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, right there. He's pointed to center field. Okay, that is about as efficient as you can be. That means that his stride's going to need to be just about exactly his body length long. And because of that, typically speaking, those are over-the-top guys because they're very smooth. So you're getting this over-the-top vibe from from the pitcher, Reynaldo De Paula here. And see, so it looks like it's getting ready to be over the top. Okay, so everything right here to the hitter is over the top, over the top, over the top. But then when he delivers it, look, he's 3/4. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I mean, from separation all the way to getting up over his head, everything to the hitter right here says over the top. And then I'll be darned, whenever he releases it, he's right there and he's 3/4. So that is very, very deceptive. That is very unique. And that separates Reynaldo De Paula from a lot of other pitchers, because I'm telling you, as a hitter, it's just hard to decipher the window as far as where the ball is going to come out from. You're looking at 10th rounder out of Westmont College, originally McKinney, Texas. I have seen McKinney, Texas play many different times. We've also hosted one of their organizations there in summer ball with the McKinney Marshals and some of the showcase tournaments. I can tell you that's a spot of the world that plays elite high school baseball. Then you go to Westmont College. He followed his brother there, who was drafted by the Cubs. And so you know that Simon Reed knows big-time baseball. Plus, he throws right and hits left, so somebody in his background absolutely knows a lot about baseball to lead him into that direction. Simon Reed, another catcher to add to the awesome catching depth in the Dodgers organization. Had a big day for Rancho yesterday with 2 hits and an RBI. So Simon Reed, going to take a good look at him as we back this up. Let me back this up just a touch. Corey Seager is one of his favorite players, and you can see a lot of Corey Seager in his swing. Let me show you right here what I'm talking about. If I can get this backed up, watch his back knee right here. This is Corey Seager to the tee. See how he's taking his back knee right to the baseball? So he's letting that back knee determine, how his swing is going to rotate around the ball. And then watch what that does for him. See, as he comes to slot right there where the barrel is perfectly flat, look how that knob is pointed almost exactly at that baseball, and so is the back knee. That is a super connected swing. That is so Corey Seager, and that is a swing that should allow him to let the ball get deep, which should allow him to have a lot of consistency at the back of the zone, but then also be able to hit the ball in the front of the zone and get it in the air as well. So nice swing by Simon Reed, super athletic with the lower half. Boy, how smooth is Josue De Paula. Had another big day yesterday, racking up 3 hits, an RBI, and a run. Now, if you watch this swing from Josue De Paula right here, I mean, look how smooth this is, okay? And look how flat and just how smooth the barrel comes through the zone right here. Look at how the foot lands soft. There is a slot right there. The knob is pointed exactly at the baseball. Back knee again, just like Simon Reed pointed exactly at the baseball. This is a great setup, and you can see his hands come flat through the ball here. Look how his hands come flat through the zone, and then lift at the front. That is a classic swing for a young man. Not a whole lot to teach him in terms of mechanics. He is way ahead of the game, especially at his age and with the big frame he has. And then look at that base hit. Let's back that one up. Okay, it is refreshing to see a guy with this size, this type of frame, that type of talent that's willing to do that right there, and just simply sell out to put the ball in play and become a complete offensive player. By the way, that's Sean McLean scoring there, who is finally back after injury. The young man out of Arizona State, very slick fielding shortstop, good player. So, and there's a breaking ball right there. So because he has committed to being a great hitter first, a complete hitter first, and then allowing the power to come after that, Josue De Paula is able to do stuff like this, use the big part of the field, hit curveballs, go the other way, beat out ground balls, and be a very complete offensive player. So not only is he very talented and obviously a very big prospect, he also is very fundamentally sound, and he's also very dedicated to playing the game of baseball right. This is Jose Izada right here, and a couple things you notice about him. Look at the punch that he packs on this hit. He is a little guy. He was playing shortstop, third base, that type of deal. He played second base a lot in spring training. He packs a punch whenever he hits the baseball, and he can run. And the best part of him is definitely his fielding. He is a very slick fielder. So a couple of things that stick out very fast is the punch that he packs when he hits the baseball, then also his very good fielding tool. So Jose Izada, a good day yesterday for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. He had a couple of hits, and he's 3 for his last 4. This is Kelvin Batista, and boy, he is absolutely turning a corner. Look at that good slider, but that's not the best pitch lately for him. lately his best pitch has been his cutter. His cutter has really become his go-to pitch, and the pitch that, the reason why right there, that's the good cutter. And the reason why that is been such a good pitch for him is that, hey, that slider has bigger break to it. There's that good cutter. But the cutter has tighter spin, and then it allows him to keep it in the strike zone more. So now you can have a strike pitch with his fastball and then one strike pitch with one of your secondaries. And now that allows him to use his slider to maybe get chase and start it in the zone, break it out, and get a lot of swing and miss from that perspective. So it allows him to make his slider bigger and more of a swing and miss type pitch as long as he's landing that cutter in the zone with his fastball. So 2 strike pitches, one is fastball, one is secondary with the cutter, and then the out pitch with a slider that's a little bit bigger. A really good combination for Kelvin Batista. He's able to land it all in the strike zone as of late, and he is really turning a corner as he has allowed just 1 run in his last 8 outings, and so he has been very good. Kelvin Batista kind of reminds me of the path that Benoni Robles is on. We've seen Benoni pitch really, really well for Great Lakes as of late. That's kind of Kelvin Batista, the path that he is on. So great job, young man. So there you have it. There's our show for you today. I will not have a show on Tuesday. I'm going to release my article on RiverRyan Tuesday morning, so make sure and look out for that. I'm also going to release an interview with Gus Varland, a AAA Oklahoma City reliever who is reaching 98 and his fastball is riding big time. It is an audio interview, but I will have highlights of him pitching over the interview, and you'll be able to hear him talk and answer questions as far as how he's doing with AAA Oklahoma City and everything as far as, he actually got Rule 5. He started this season at the Major Leagues. You'll get to hear him talk about that experience. His brother Louis is in the Major Leagues as well, so super excited to release my interview with Gus Varland on Tuesday. So, the next thing you'll see on Tuesday is our article from RiverRyan, then our interview from Gus Varland, and then Wednesday night we will have our Dodgers dogs again, and then we will go from there. So, hey, I hope you enjoyed today's show. I hope you tune into all of the content that we have, that we're going to have available for you this week, and I hope you enjoy all that. Just a reminder, if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily, we have a link to our GoFundMe account in the description. Again, the link to our GoFundMe account in the description if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily by donating. Also, hey, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a comment. Don't forget to also to answer the question, do you think that there are any prospects in the organization that are untouchable? And also, make sure to like this video and tell all your friends, share the video, make sure your notifications are turned on. As always, thanks for tuning in, and go Dodgers.